Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Thank you for joining me today as we address concerns circulating regarding the Draft Tax Administration and Procedure Act that has garnered attention. It is imperative that we always provide accurate information to the St. Lucian public to dispel any misconceptions. First and foremost, I want to make it clear that the draft bill in circulation was initiated during the term of the United Workers' Party administration, as evidenced by Cabinet Conclusion number 1511 of 2020. The Cabinet Conclusion reads, and I quote, "Cabinet considered a memorandum dated 13th November 2020, submitted by the Department of Finance, and approved the request for creation of the Tax Administration and Procedures Act to harmonize the administrative, collections, and penal provisions of the various pieces of legislation that are currently administered by the Inland Revenue Department." Further, by memo dated November 3rd, 2020, December 3rd, 2020, from the Ministry of Finance, Economic Growth, Job Creation, External Affairs, and Public Service, headed by the former Prime Minister, states, "The Department of Finance wishes to inform the Cabinet by conclusion number 1511 of 2020, considered a memorandum dated 13th November 2020, submitted by the Department of Finance, and approved the request for creation of the Tax Administrative Procedures Act to harmonize the administrative, collections, and penal provisions of the various pieces of legislation that are currently administered by the Inland Revenue Department. The aforementioned is for your attention and necessary action." Can I read that again? By memo dated December 3rd, 2020, from the Ministry of Finance, Economic Growth, Job Creation, External Affairs, and the Public Service, headed by the former Prime Minister, states, "The Department of Finance wishes to inform that by Cabinet Conclusion number 1511 of 2020, considered a memorandum dated 14th November 2020, submitted by the Department of Finance, and approved the request for creation of the Tax Administration for creation of the Tax Administrative Procedures Act to harmonize the administrative, collections, and penal provisions of the various pieces of legislation that are currently administered by the Inland Revenue Department. The aforementioned is for your attention and necessary action." It is clear that the instructions for preparation of the draft bill came from the former Prime Minister and Minister of Finance. Let me inform the public of St. Lucia that the cabinet which I lead has never seen the draft bill now in circulation. The cabinet that I lead has never seen the draft bill now in circulation. It is clear, and it's my understanding, is that consistent with our approach of transparency, dialogue, and open government, the draft bill prepared on instruction from the former Prime Minister is open for public discussion. My government's policy on tax is clear. We have increased the tax threshold to $24,000, meaning that anyone who earns $2,000 and less per month pays no income tax. My government has given the most generous tax amnesty in the history of St. Lucia, where all forms of fines, penalties, and interest have been cancelled on all outstanding tax arrears, including VAT. This is the statement, and I have in circulation the memo from the Ministry of Finance, Economic Growth, Job Creation, External Affairs, and Public Service. There is no such ministry in my administration. And it says, which I have read for you, Cabinet by conclusion approved the request for creation, approved the request for creation of the Tax Administrative Procedures Act to harmonize the administrative collections and penal provisions of the various pieces of legislation that are currently administered by the Inland Revenue Department. The aforementioned is for your attention and necessary action. That's a memo from the ministry to the Comptroller of Inland Revenue, to the Director of Research, instructing them to prepare the draft bill that's in circulation. My government has absolutely no input in that bill. My cabinet has not seen that bill. That bill is being circulated with our position on transparency and accountability, and is being circulated for public discussion. It has not come to cabinet, it has not been approved, and it's not our creation. It's the creation of the former government. Can I get any questions? Thank you very much. We will email you the statement at the end. The statement, we email it to you. Yes, questions?
So you said, I want to make something clear. The bill that is being circulated, who gave the authorization for it?
I just read, that is, the circulation is for public discussion by the technocrats, the technical people. Before it comes, they go and give it to the public. The same we did for several other bills.
This memo is from 2020,
yes,
right? Your
yes.
administration came into power in 2020.
Yes.
Right. Was this bill ever in circulation or for consultation prior to
It hadn't been prepared.
It had not been prepared?
No, the instructions to prepare came from 2020.
The instructions came from here?
To prepare it. And you take time to prepare a bill, don't you?
Yes.
Yes.
So then this is from the AG's office, right? It would be.
What's in the AG's office?
Who's preparing the bill?
The
Is it
bill.
a draft?
Okay. You want, let's go for it. The important point is that the instruction to prepare the bill came from the former government. That's what's important. After that is procedural, not the AG or the Inland Revenue. The instruction, the order to prepare the bill came from the former Prime Minister, as evidenced by a document. We're not getting involved in you say, I say, she say. A document which is an instruction from the former Prime Minister to prepare the bill. What happens after that? Based on instructions, the Inland Revenue proceeded to prepare a bill, which, according to the instruction, it says to harmonize the administrative, collections, and penal provisions of the various pieces of legislation. That's what's written. I didn't say that. Hold on. After it is prepared by the technical people, it is circulated, and then it comes to the cabinet. The cabinet opines, discusses, and it turns it to the Attorney General for necessary changes, and then it goes to the Parliament. Anything before that is just a piece of paper. So what you have is a piece of paper. You have you have a piece of paper that was prepared by the technocrats for discussion and circulation on instruction from the former Minister of Finance. He gave the instructions to prepare it.
There are concerns.
Go ahead. Let her go ahead. Go ahead.
There are concerns about the bill. People who have seen it, they have it, the concerns are the restrictions on movement.
We don't speak the concerns, and we have. What I'm saying to you is that what I want to dispel, that bill was not initiated by my government. It's not our ideas that are in this bill. This bill was prepared on instruction by the former government with the following instructions: to harmonize the administrative, collections, and penal provisions of the various pieces of legislation that are currently administered by the Inland Revenue Department. That was all this
As
bill.
a Minister of Finance right now, you do have the power to stop that.
When it comes to me, when it comes to the cabinet,
So you're telling me technocrats from your department,
Yes.
underneath in your ministry,
Yes.
are doing something and you have no idea?
they are doing what they have to do. They have to circulate, because you see, it only becomes important when it's passed. Right now, it's a piece of paper. It only becomes important when it goes through the processes. It's a piece of paper for circulation. That's all it is.
The Prime Minister is going through consultation
Yes.
right now. So it is important what is
Yes, and that is why we're having the consultation.
consultation.
But what I'm talking about is the blame. What I'm talking about is the fact that Philip J. Pierre is the one who did that. That's the point I'm making.
But so what are your thoughts on that, Bill?
I haven't seen it. I haven't read it.
Prime Minister, I'm confused.
If I were you, I'd be confused too, because I could not understand how people can lie like that. I agree with you. I'm confused too, because when I saw you all making a fuss of it, I was wondering what are you talking about? I'm confused myself. So I don't blame you for your confusion.
I'm hoping you can clear.
I can't clear what I didn't initiate.
Okay. Recently, at your cabinet briefing, well, earlier this week on Monday, you spoke of a $40 million loan from the World Bank. And I remember you saying that the monies from those monies would be used for revamping the operations of the Inland Revenue Department.
What's
You
the
spoke about-
relation? What's the relation to that?
You spoke about modernization,
Yeah. Go ahead.
streamlining, and everything.
Yeah.
So, is this bill part of that plan?
A bill, part of a plan to modernize?
Is
No.
this bill going to be part of the operations
No. You have it. Let's go through that slowly.
Like I said,
Let's
I'm
go through it slowly.
confused.
There's no need to be confused. In December 2020, the former Minister of Finance instructed the Inland Revenue to prepare a bill to harmonize. No, hold on. I'm having a press conference. To harmonize administrative collections and penal provisions of the various pieces of legislation that are currently administered in 2020. What you're speaking about is in 2023 is a grant or a loan to deal with procedures in revenue, collections of taxes, records, not to prepare any bills.
But that's
Completely different
okay.
things.
It's to support the operation.
I need to understand this. So give me a
But
minute.
there's no
Give me a minute.
connection
So,
between the two.
okay.
There's
How is
none.
there no connection?
There's no
But
connection.
he just said procedures and everything. So
Right, so
Operations on the
the
level.
bill just spoke about
Alright.
procedures.
So let me give you an example. Let's say Inland Revenue needs money money for paper. Some of that loan from the $40 million will be allocated to help them with those kinds of office.
The
We
operations.
let the Minister of Finance answer
But he
those
explained
questions.
it, so he
Shouldn't
explained it one way and
and
another
he
way.
is the minister, right? Shouldn't we let him
But
answer the
what we're
question?
saying is that he's trying to.
So-
What I'm saying to you, if I were you, I'll be confused at the actions of the former Minister of Finance. Because if I had initiated an instruction to prepare a bill, and the bill is now in the public domain, I would have allowed the public to discuss it. And don't blame somebody who did not instruct to prepare it. I wouldn't blame them. That's what I'm confused about.
Okay, but-
So the idea of the modernizing of the operational department have nothing to do with the circulation of a draft bill that was instructed by the former Minister of Finance.
You're losing me.
Maybe.
Okay,
Okay,
hold on. member of the government for the past, what, 30 years, 25 years?
As many as you want.
I'm just asking, right? So you know better than me the inner workings of these things, right? So I'm relying on you for your expertise right now. A draft bill that was prepared, it doesn't matter when it was prepared, it doesn't matter, we understand it was prepared.
I didn't say it was prepared, I never said so. I said instructed.
Okay, the instructions,
Yes,
right?
I said.
So the instructions were from back then, but you were part of the cabinet at that time?
No. You don't even know the dates. 2020.
Yes, but you were in opposition.
Yes, I was in the cabinet. What the cabinet? Cabinet.
Sorry, you see, y'all have me so confused. This is so confusing. This is very confusing, and I'm trying to put it together. So, you were part of the government. Let's just
No, I was not. I was not.
You were in opposition.
Yes.
Right, you were in opposition.
Uh-huh.
Now, when you're in opposition, you have knowledge.
No,
of,
no,
no.
no knowledge. Absolutely no knowledge. Cabinet, you see, cabinet meets with government ministers, and parliament meets with elected members.
Ah, okay. Thank you. So I guess now I know where the confusion was. Okay. So the instruction was in 2020.
Yeah.
But you are in the process of revamping the operations of the Inland Revenue Department right now.
Uh-huh.
So what I want to ask you
Please.
is,
Yeah.
while you're revamping the operations of the Inland Revenue Department,
Uh-huh.
is this bill, the draft bill,
Uh-huh.
going to come into play now?
No.
Is it going to be passed now?
The draft bill is being discussed. The discussion, after the discussion, a draft will be sent to the Minister of Finance. The Minister of Finance will look at it, send it back to the Inland Revenue Department. That will they'll consult the Attorney General, and then it will come to the Cabinet of Ministers. In the Cabinet, the Minister of Finance will present it like the former Minister of Finance instructed. The present Minister of Finance will present it to the Cabinet. The Cabinet will opine. It will go back to the Accountant General for the necessary changes, and then it will be presented to Parliament for debate where everybody can speak.
Okay.
That's when it becomes law.
So let's go back to, what is your personal opinion on that?
I do not know, because I've not seen a draft from the Inland Revenue.
Okay. So we'll take a question from the person.
Yes?
Your administration will place emphasis on policy.
I thought you'd be very happy about the tax amnesty instead, about you not paying in fines and taxes. I thought that would be important. Yes.
Since you've placed emphasis on tax policy and implementation, would this bill merit some of the tax reforms? Would it merit?
That is why it's in discussion. You see, that's a piece of paper. It has not gone anywhere. It's for the public discussion, and people are raising their queries. And we have nothing against people raising their queries, What we take umbrage to is the fact that you blame the present government. That's what we take umbrage to, because it's not right. We have no problems with the discussions, People can say, people can raise concerns. That's why it's in discussion. You may recall when there was a tax on charcoal that was gazetted. You may recall that? Right, it was gazetted that there would be a tax on charcoal production, on production of black pudding, on production of things. That was law.
Extending on your house.
Which we have not implemented. That is still the law. This, what you're watching, is a piece of paper that's in distribution for discussion, based on an instruction from the former Minister of Finance to put it together. That's what you see. You see nothing else but that. But what we are concerned about is the lies. I use the word lies, that these are measures proposed by this government. What is there comes from instructions, as evidenced by instruction from this ministry to the Parliament, to the Commissioner of Revenue. It wasn't me who gave the instruction. That's what's important. That's what we say. Yes.
Hold on, John.
Yeah, but from what the opposition have posted, a lot of the disquiet came from I think, an exit of whatever document it is, that something about houses being seized if one doesn't pay one's taxes and one wouldn't be able to travel and stuff like that.
Okay. Have you read? Are you may be very young. You may not know that there was a time in St. Lucia when you could not travel if you didn't have a tax clearance. You know that? Yes. You don't know who removed it? Kenny Anthony and the Labour Party. You know, I'm glad I went to hope that I went to and especially the reporters were confused. There was a time in St. Lucia when you could not travel unless you had something called a tax clearance. You went to the Inland Revenue Department, they looked and they said, no, you can't travel, you must pay $10 in your tax, and you couldn't travel. So this is not new legislation. That's been there all the time. But it was kept in the books. So we clean it up. So the intention is to clean it up, which is a right intention. The intention there is correct. That's a perfect intention. That did not say, I will never accuse the former Prime Minister of putting that in legislation. That's not my style. I speak the truth. I will never accuse him. What I'm saying is that was his instruction. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he put it there. The same way you should not say I put it there. And that's the point. That's what's important. I'm not saying he put it. He should not say I put it. And I want to tell you that there was a time in St. Lucia when you could not travel without a tax clearance. And Kenny Anthony and the Labour Party removed it from the books.
Okay.
Next question. Yours, same thing?
You have a question?
Anybody else have a question?
Yes.
You can allow it to. You can,
I wish you
go
can,
ahead.
but we can try to rephrase.
You want to go?
I just want to ask the Prime Minister to elaborate on his plans for the Inland Fund. I think if you just
There
give
is
us
no- What I want
tell
to
us what exactly you intend to do so that all the
I intend the Inland Revenue to
clear.
continue to circulate bills for circulation and discussion.
you
I intend them
spoke
to. I want them to continue to circulate bills for discussion and for dialogue before it becomes law.
your proposed revamping of
The Inland Revenue Department, there are situations where the IT processes must improve so they become a modern department. That's all. So when you become a modern department where information is easier, where you can go in today and find how much you owe, etc., using IT, using technology to make it a modernized tax department. So information can be easier. As it regards to bills and regulations, the procedure will be the same. It will come from an instruction from a ministry, like was the instruction from the ministry in 2020. The bill is going to be prepared, necessary public discussion, and it will come back to the cabinet, then go to law. There will be no change, I can assure you.
Can I ask you something off topic?
No, I want to disabuse your minds of the confusion. Because, you know, I did something. Mistruths become truths if they're not cleared. Now, the only reason why you sound confused, because you cannot believe, and I agree with you, you
I
cannot.
never said I was confused, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry,
I
okay.
just wanted to-
Right.
I-
Thank you. I'm glad.
I am not confused.
I'm glad. You see, let me tell you why my good friend is confused. Because she can't believe. She cannot believe that you have a document that gives an instruction to prepare a bill. And when the bill is prepared, for discussion, after you give the instruction, you blame the person who had nothing to do with it. So I agree with her. I was confused myself. I said, but what really is going on? What's going on? Till I was told what is happening.
But Prime Minister,
Yes.
I think the confusion comes from the fact that you're saying that you're not aware of this bill.
That's a fact.
Something that is, I mean, this is the Inland Revenue Department.
Yes.
So you're saying they're technocrats are basically that did this.
Mhm.
And they're doing something.
I said the contents. No, my language correctly. Say
Okay.
my language correctly.
Whatever you said.
Yes.
But this is being done, whatever is being done right
Mhm.
now, this is being done, right, by people that work in your ministry.
Uh-huh.
And you are unaware.
But what must I be aware of? That's discussion. There is nothing, my good lady. There is nothing. That's discussion. That's not the law. It hasn't reached me yet to make a discussion on. Yes.
The question is,
Uh-huh.
is because a lot of people have, including Chamber Chamber of Commerce,
Uh-huh.
we have the Chartered Accountant for China. Mr. Peter King did speak about him being at consultation meetings, right? And the issues that were put out there were about the fact that this might be a bit too punitive.
They haven't come
right?
to me.
And so
It has
this is
not
something
come
that
to me.
concerns-
It has not
concerns
come
the
to
citizens.
me.
Concerns citizens.
Yes,
So it
uh-huh,
concerns every
yes,
citizen,
yeah,
right? Every taxpaying citizen. So everyone is concerned, and you as the Minister for Finance and the Prime Minister are saying that you are unaware of a bill like this. This is unprecedented, by the way.
Can I explain
This
to you?
bill is unprecedented.
Can I explain to you?
Right?
It's not
This-
unprecedented.
and
It is
a-
not.
It is a bill that scares a lot of people because people are concerned that they lose their homes, they're not able to travel. That is the concern.
And I agree
So
them.
people are coming to you as the Minister of Finance. Can you tell us, allay our fears that, again, right now the consultation is going on. The concerns that we registered during this consultative process, that this will be incorporated in the final draft, that we will not be seeing some of the things that we currently see in this bill, right? That's the concern. You as the Minister of Finance, they're asking you, can you allay our fears? We are concerned about this.
Can I explain something to you?
cannot
Did you hear me
talk
before?
about it.
Did you hear me a while ago? Did you hear me a while ago? You heard what I said? Did you hear what I said? There was a time in St. Lucia when you could not travel. I think that hasn't sunk in your mind.
I heard you. I
Right, fine.
heard you.
No, that's a fact. And I'm saying to you, what you see now is for discussion. We'll opine when I hear officially from the Inner Revenue Department what they're see. I do not speak unless I have official documentation. When Inner Revenue comes to me and they say, Prime Minister, we held discussions in the Chamber of Commerce, we held discussions with the chartered accountants, discussions with the business people, here are their concerns. Our recommendation is such. We are going to delete that, include that, then I come in. I do not speak prematurely. Speaking now is speaking prematurely because I'm hearing you say, I'm hearing some other people say, so I need to get a document from the authoritative people. These are the people who have been charged with tax, the Inland Revenue Department. When they come back to me with a piece of proposed legislation that I have to opine on, I will opine on it together with my cabinet, seek necessary advice, and then I'll make a public statement. I agree that everybody should express their concerns. This is why it's in circulation. Everybody should express their concerns, but I'm not opining on what I do not know. No one has written me officially with any complaints about that bill. No one. What's happening now is discussion. That's all. So there's no need, because that instruction from the Ministry of Finance was to put together 12 existing acts. There are 12 laws relating to income tax in St. Lucia. 12. 12 laws, yes. 12 of them. There are 12 acts relating to tax in St. Lucia. 12. That instruction by the former Prime Minister was to put these things together into one piece of legislation. In that piece of legislation, everybody is seeing now what existed in the 12 acts. So people are querying. Right, you say. You've not heard this Prime Minister condemn anybody for querying. You've not heard me say that they should not query. All we're saying to you is what they're querying on is a piece of paper and on existing law. That's all we're saying. So what is going to happen? When the queries are put together into this document on the instruction of the former Prime Minister, then we are going to opine.
Okay.
So right now, nothing has changed. Right now, concerns are good. Debate is robust. We're happy about it. But nothing has changed. Nothing has happened. It will only happen when it goes to the Parliament. It hasn't gone there. So, yes, go ahead.
If this, as it is, or maybe a few changes are done, and this goes through the final process where it's drafted finally as for legislation to be passed in Parliament, and it will then be brought to your attention, I guess, then, and this finally goes through, it means you're in agreement with what the former Prime Minister initiated.
When I see the draft, I'm in agreement with what he initiated. Of course I'm in agreement with it. I'm in agreement with it. It's a good idea. It's a very good idea. Of course, because how you can have 12 pieces of legislation for tax in this country? Investors are confused. Everybody's confused. You got to go for income tax, this and that, house tax, property tax, VAT tax. You put all of it in one bill. That's a brilliant idea.
But it's a bit inconceivable,
What?
that you have not gotten a draft copy of this bill.
No, but there is no bill to. Yeah,
Okay.
good.
That's all.
Mr. Prime Minister,
Yeah.
I think I understand. Mr. Prime Minister, you just said, okay,
You don't have to explain.
you just said,
This is hard.
you just explained that there were 12 existing pieces of legislation. Okay? You also said that the instruction was to put those existing pieces of legislation together into one thing, to amalgamate. That's what you said, right?
That's what the former Prime Minister said.
Right. How is it that you, being a member of the government for 25 years,
No, wrong. Let's get no. Let's get it straight. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
okay, how is it that you've been in government for so long and you have no idea or no knowledge of those 12 pieces of legislation that were already existing?
I never said so.
But that's what you just
I
said.
said,
You you never saw the bill.
I said I never saw the consolidated bill. That's what I said. I never said I knew it.
Okay,
I said it's the
but
consolidated
the
bill.
But the bill,
The proposed
the
bill.
proposed bill
Uh-huh.
is a document that puts these 12 existing
Yes,
pieces of legislation
yeah.
together.
Yeah.
So how is it you have
What
knowledge?
are you asking me? You ask me whether I know about 12 percent legislation? Of course I know about 12
You know
percent,
the
but I don't know about the 12. I don't know about the consolidated. That's what I'm saying.
So consultation is happening to consolidate.
Did the
all
12
the
percent-
Right, let the Minister of Finance answer. the
But
question.
because you're not asking the Minister of Finance questions. You're not asking the Minister of Finance questions, You're not doing that. You're saying things.
I'm asking.
Asking me what?
I am asking you.
Uh-huh.
Because I cannot understand.
Ask me what?
I'm asking you.
Uh-huh.
How is it that you saying that you do not know the contents?
I never said so. I said I do not. I have not seen what is being prepared, which is a consolidation of these 12 acts. I have not seen it. That's what I
But
said.
you have knowledge of the 12 acts.
Of course, I know what you're 12 acts.
And again, as the Minister of
Uh-huh,
Finance, you said it was a good idea to put it together.
Yes,
and
uh-huh,
everything.
uh-huh.
What is your opinion on this piece of?
When I see the Alpine, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the consolidated bills.